Hello class, let us continue with the act first of the tragedy by William Shakespeare, that is Romeo and Juliet. So far we have discussed the first three scenes of this act. Now let us continue with the fourth scene that happens as you see on the screen, that happens in a street. And there are characters present. There are characters like Romeo, Mercutio. Who is Mercutio? Mercutio is a kinsman to Prince Aeschylus, and he is also a friend to Romeo. With them, Benvolio is also present. Who is Benvolio? Benvolio is Montague's nephew, Romeo's father's nephew, as well as, that means he is a cousin to Romeo, as well as he is Romeo's close friend. With them are some 5-6 maskers. Who are these maskers? Maskers are the people who wear masks, and they are the participants in the feast, in the masked feast, where people use different types of faces on their real faces, that is known as the mask, and they dance and they enjoy the party or the feast. So, and with them are present also some torch bearers, some people carrying light in their hands because it's the night time, and there are some others also. So these are the characters that appear on the stage. The scene is a street in Venice, and we know that all these people are there because they are going to the feast that is held at Juliet's house, that is Capulet house. And they have made this plan that wearing, actually Romeo and Benvolio particularly, they cannot be welcome in a Capulet feast because they belong to the enemy family, that is the Montague family. But this is a masked ball. Ball means a dance party. So this is a masked party. So wearing a mask, one can hide one's identity, one can disguise oneself. So by wearing masks, Romeo and Benvolio, they can hide their faces under their mask, and they can join the feast that is held in the Capulet household. Okay, actually Romeo is not willing to go there because of the sadness in his heart, since Rosaline, the girl whom he loved, is not ready to marry him. Actually she does not want to marry at all. So Romeo is in that condition, dejected state of mind, and in order to bring him out of that, actually Benvolio and Mercutio, his close friends, they want that Romeo should go to the feast, even though the party that night, even though it is happening in Capulet's house. He is in a gloomy state of mind. Romeo says, now there is some important statement by Romeo regarding love, and this is how the dramatists they use an important dramatic device called the irony. Now this is the irony of situation. It is said that irony is a dramatic device that indicates when something is said or something is done, exactly opposite to that will happen, or it is to be happen in that situation. Or verbal irony means when a character says something but he means something else. So this is the audience gets its meaning that is exactly opposite of what is said. So this is the irony of situation here, because Romeo says, Romeo does not want to go there. It is, and he says, is love a tender thing? Mercutio says that love is a tender thing and all that. To this, Romeo says, is love a tender thing? Tender, smooth, soft. It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn. It is pointed. So Romeo says it's not something smooth, but it's painful. It pricks like the thorns. And we know that now this is the irony of situation, because now Romeo is in a mood of dejection. He is disappointed in love, but we know that in the next scene he is going to fall in love with Juliet. So this is the irony of the situation, and now he is saying that love is painful and it pricks like thorn, and we know that the next moment, in the next scene, he is going to fall in love with Juliet. Then this scene also points out to the coming tragedy, the tragedy that happens with these lovers. Now what happens to these lovers? Both of them, they die at the end of this play. And Romeo in this scene, he is not ready to enter the feast at Juliet's house, and he is telling about this to his friends, that is Mercutio and Benvolio. He says, look, I don't want to go there, because I have a feeling, and I am afraid of something, and I am thinking of some untimely death and all that. So this is the premonition of death. This is when premonition is when somebody gets an idea of something bad that is going to happen in future, that might happen to the character in future. So this is premonition. Romeo's premonition of death is an important aspect of this scene. Then by the end of this scene, they wear masks and decide to go to the Capulet's feast. So here, by the end of the fourth scene of the first act, what are the important happenings? There is the fight between the servants of the Capulet family and the Montague family. Then Benvolio comes there to stop that fight. Tybalt comes there. Then there is a fight between Benvolio and Tybalt. Then Prince Scalus becomes very angry. He comes there and he orders the Capulets and the Montagues for the penalty. And then there is the discussion between Romeo's parents and Benvolio regarding Romeo's sadness or his poor condition of mind. And Benvolio promises them that he will talk to Romeo and he will try to understand the reason of Romeo's sadness of heart. And he really talks to Romeo, and Romeo tells him, he gives the explanation that he is sad because of the rejection in love by Rosaline. And Benvolio is a very practical kind of man, and he says, forget Rosaline, and you should look at some other beautiful women. To this, Romeo says, nobody can be as beautiful as my Rosaline. And meanwhile, they come across the list in the hands of Capulet's servant, who is not able to read the list of the guests who are invited for the feast that night. And by chance, Romeo comes to know that Rosaline is also one of the guests in that list, and that's why he says yes. When Benvolio Benvolio insists that they should go to the party or the feast that night wearing masks. So here they are in the fourth scene. The main characters are Romeo, Mercutio and Benvolio with some of the maskers, and they decide at last to enter the party feast at the Capulet household by wearing masks. And in the fifth scene, which is the last scene of the first act, what happens, because here is the meeting between Romeo and Juliet. Finally, they fall in love with each other in the last scene of the first act. Tomorrow we will discuss the fifth scene of act first of Romeo and Juliet. Thank you.